Last week, I cracked open a Mercury Verado 300 with less than 400 hours on it. The clutch gear teeth had sheared clean off from the inside, metal fragments everywhere, housing cracked near the bulb. $4,000 repair on an engine the dealer swore was bulletproof. But that Mercury wasn't even the worst thing I saw that week. The next morning, a Chinese Hankai came in with a gouged piston from a casting fragment that broke loose inside the cylinder. 10 hours of runtime. Today, I'm cutting open 5 outboard brands you should never buy, and I'm showing you what's actually failing inside each one. Physical evidence from real teardowns. Let's get into it. Number 5. Chinese knockoff outboards. I'm talking about Hankai, HPDI, Parsun, Sail, and the dozen other brands flooding Amazon and eBay right now at prices that seem too good to be true, because they are. Here's what these actually are. They're reverse-engineered copies of proven Japanese designs. Hankai's 6-horsepower 2-stroke is a direct clone of the Tohatsu M5B that Tohatsu built from 1988 to 2005. HPDI copies Yamaha. Parsun copies Mercury and Tohatsu. The blueprints work because they're stolen. What fails is everything else. When you pull one of these apart, the casting quality is immediately obvious. A specialist mechanic stripped a Hankai 2-horsepower down to bare components and found a piston destroyed by a broken internal casting fragment. Less than 10 hours on the motor. The metal inside these engines is so poorly cast that chunks break free and bounce around the cylinder like shrapnel. The reed valves, those little petals under the carburetor that control airflow, crack and fly into the cylinder on virtually every Chinese 2-stroke. The alloy they use is wrong. Service masters say they should flex and spring back, but instead they snap and turn into engine confetti. It gets worse. Gearboxes ship from the factory without grease. The instructions never mention it. Owners run them dry until they seize. Fuel hoses crack within months because the cheap rubber dissolves when it meets ethanol-blended fuel. Oil seals fail within the first year, letting water into the power head. And the corrosion protection is basically a single coat of paint. Compare that to Yamaha, which uses 3 coats of bake-hardened paint with proprietary undercoating. Forum users call these things Alka-Seltzer outboards because 3 years in salt water and they literally dissolve. No US service network exists. No mechanic wants to touch them. Resale value is 0. You will throw this motor away. And here's the part that really burns. The repair cost paradox. When something breaks on a Chinese outboard, fixing it often costs more than servicing the Japanese original it was copied from. The parts don't quite fit, the threads are slightly off-spec, and your mechanic charges premium rates for the extra frustration of making knockoff components cooperate. I've seen guys spend $400 trying to fix a $600 motor. At that point, you're literally paying more in labor than the engine is worth on the transom. But if Chinese knockoffs are number 5, you might be wondering what's worse than an engine that self-destructs out of the box. The answer is an engine from a brand you actually trust that hides its problems until you're in too deep to walk away. Number 4. Yamaha HPDI. Yamaha builds some of the best outboards on the planet. But their HPDI line, the high-pressure direct injection 2-strokes from 2000 to 2009 in the 150 to 300 horsepower range, is the single most absurdly complex fuel system ever bolted onto an outboard motor. Inside a Yamaha HPDI, you'll find 5 separate fuel pumps, 2 low-pressure lift pumps, 1 medium-pressure electric pump, 1 high-pressure mechanical pump, and a vapor separator. The fuel injectors operate at 750 to 1,000 pounds per square inch. And buried inside the high-pressure pump and injectors are hidden 2-micron Bosch number 1 109 filters that Yamaha never documented in service manuals or parts diagrams. They're not in the parts breakdowns. They're not in the maintenance schedule. They just exist, waiting to clog. When those hidden filters plug up, your engine starves for fuel above 2,500 revolutions per minute. Your boat can't get on plane, and you'll spend thousands chasing phantom fuel delivery problems because even experienced mechanics don't know these filters exist unless they've been specifically trained on HPDI. A Yamaha master tech described the whole fuel system as a Rube Goldberg affair and admitted his own bass boat runs a completely different brand. The Yamaha F225 and F250 from 2000 to 2005 have a separate problem. The exhaust tubes corrode from the inside out in an area that sits outside the cooling jacket. Flushing your motor after every trip does absolutely nothing to prevent this, because the corroding section never sees flush water. Yamaha never recalled these engines despite thousands being affected. The repair kit alone costs $650 to $1,300 per engine, plus 6 to 8 hours of labor. For twin engines, you're looking at $4,000 or more. The HPDI taught Yamaha something, and they moved on to the far more reliable 4-stroke F-Series. But if you're shopping used boats and you see HPDI on the cowling, walk away, or negotiate accordingly. And speaking of expensive surprises from big brands, number 3 is the one that's going to make some of you angry, because this brand dominates the market right now. Dealers push it harder than anything else. And the problems I'm about to show you are the reason my shop phone rings more than it should. Number 3. Mercury V8 and Verado. Mercury Marine builds fast, refined outboards. They also have the most restrictive dealer diagnostic lockout in the entire industry and a V8 lower unit failure pattern so severe that it deserves its own category of mechanical tragedy. Here's the failure. Inside the Mercury V8 lower unit, the clutch gear teeth shear off. When they shear, metal fragments ricochet around the gear case and crack the housing from the inside out near the bulb area. Counter-rotation units on the port side are worse because they contain extra gears and hold less oil. One owner documented going through 12 lower units in 4 years on twin 2018 Verado 350s. 12. The starboard side grenaded from clutch gear failure, then the port side blew on the very first fishing trip of the next season. He confirmed he didn't hit anything. The gears just gave out. Mercury never formally acknowledged the pattern. They just kept sending replacement lower units. Each replacement runs $3,000 to $5,000. Mercury eventually released improved HD gear cases and better gear oil for the 450 series, which is Mercury. Quietly admitting the original design had a problem without actually saying the words. The supercharged Verado L6 inline 6 stacks its own problems on top of this. The 275 through 400 horsepower range has documented recurring failures, including supercharger belt replacements, alternator failures, coil pack failures, and steering actuator problems that spawned massive complaint threads on every boating forum. One owner of twin Verado 300s documented 3 alternator replacements, 5 coil pack replacements, 3 wiring harness replacements, and a steering actuator failure, all within 2.5 years. Some Verados run flawlessly for thousands of hours. Others are constant headaches. The problem is that you don't know which one you got until you're already making payments on it. But the lower units and the supercharger issues are only part of the Mercury story. The other part is what happens when something breaks and you try to fix it yourself. Mercury's CDSG3 diagnostic software is completely locked to authorized dealers. It requires registration, phone validation, and revalidation every 45 days. Even the consumer VesselView mobile app is intentionally limited. It shows you basic RPM and temperature data but cannot run diagnostics, perform calibrations, or clear fault codes. If you want to do something as simple as swapping which engine is designated port versus starboard, you need the dealer software. The only third-party alternative is Rinda Technologies at $600 to $700, plus separate adapters for each engine generation at $69 to $249 each. A new OEM Mercury ECU costs $1,500 to $3,000. Mercury Optimax fuel injectors run up to $800 each, and Mercury master technicians warn that non-OEM injectors can destroy a powerhead. By comparison, Suzuki has the most open diagnostic ecosystem in the business, and even Yamaha has third-party options for under $300. Mercury is the only brand that actively fights your ability to maintain your own engine. If you're the kind of boater who likes working on your own stuff, that matters. If you're getting value from this, hit subscribe. I cover outboard maintenance, teardowns, and the stuff dealers won't tell you every single week. Now, number 2 is the one that scares me as a mechanic because the failure mode is invisible. You can maintain this engine perfectly and still lose it. Number 2. Honda BF series in saltwater. Honda outboards are whisper quiet, fuel efficient, and built with automotive-grade precision. They also have a documented internal corrosion problem that eats through cylinder heads into combustion chambers, specifically on the BF135, BF150, BF200, and BF225 in saltwater environments. The failure happens slowly. Saltwater corrodes through the cooling water jacket into the cylinder head casting. Eventually, it breaches the combustion chamber wall. Water enters the cylinders. Your oil turns to chocolate milky, and if you don't catch it in time, hydrolocking destroys the engine completely. One owner of a Honda BF225, with only 575 hours on it, found milky oil during a routine change. This boat was garage kept, flushed after every trip, and ran premium oil on schedule. Perfect maintenance. Still failed. Another owner documented buying a Honda BF225 in 2009, replacing the lower unit due to corrosion in 2015, and then finding a hole in the engine block and heads by 2017. Water was shooting out under the cowling during operation. The hidden killer is Honda's internal anodes. Inside the exhaust manifolds, there are sacrificial zinc anodes that protect the surrounding aluminum from galvanic corrosion. Honda Service Bulletin 56 addresses this with exhaust tube upgrades, but most owners never learn these internal anodes exist. The dealer doesn't mention them at delivery. The standard service schedule doesn't emphasize them. And by the time an owner discovers the problem, the powerhead damage is already done. Some Honda owners run thousands of hours without issues, but those tend to be the meticulous few who change internal anodes on a strict schedule. If you didn't know those anodes were in there, check yours today. I mean that. Pull the cowling, locate the exhaust manifold anodes, and inspect them. If they're more than half consumed, replace them immediately. A set of anodes costs under $50. A new powerhead costs $5,000 to $7,000. That's not a hard decision. If you're shopping for a used Honda, pull the oil fill cap and look at the underside. Any milky residue means water has been mixing with oil. Walk away. Also ask the seller when the internal anodes were last changed. If they look confused by the question, that tells you everything you need to know. And finally, number 1. The Outboard brand. I get the most questions about from used boat buyers. The engine that could strand you permanently, not because it failed mechanically, but because the company that made it no longer exists. Number 1. Evinrude E-TEC. On May 27, 2020, BRP killed the Evinrude brand entirely. They blamed COVID, signed a deal with Mercury Marine the same month, and 650 workers at the Sturtevant, Wisconsin plant lost their jobs. 6 years later, every remaining ETEC on the water is an orphan engine running on borrowed time. The single most expensive and failure-prone component is the EMM, the Engine Management Module. It's the brain of every ETEC. It controls fuel injection through a proprietary 55-volt circuit, ignition timing, battery charging, and oil injection. A new OEM unit costs $1,200 to $3,500 depending on the model. And here's the design flaw that kills them. BRP integrated the voltage regulator, a heat-producing component, inside the same water-cooled housing as the digital circuit board. Voltage spikes from loose battery connections, short charges, or stator failures cook the electronics from within. One owner paid over $3,000 to replace the EMM on a 9-year-old ETEC with only 134 hours. And he couldn't have done it without a dealer because every EMM replacement requires BRP's dealer-level diagnostic software and an internet-connected server to program. You cannot bolt on a replacement EMM without a dealer login. As Evinrude dealers disappear across the country, most having switched to Yamaha or Mercury, this bottleneck becomes a death sentence for the engine. And the EMM doesn't just fail on its own, it gets murdered by other components. The flywheel magnets delaminate over time and shred the stator underneath. One mechanic found a stator producing only 25 of the required 55 volts. That voltage drop doesn't just kill the stator, it sends irregular power to the EMM, which cooks the circuit board. So now you're replacing the flywheel, the stator, and the EMM in a single cascade failure. Combined stator and flywheel replacement alone runs $1,000 to $2,000. Stack the EMM on top, and you're looking at $3,000 to $5,000 in a single repair event on an engine that might only be worth $4,000. The fuel injectors are the second crisis. These operate at up to 600 pounds per square inch, and each injector has a unique flow coefficient that must be programmed into the EMM. Pre-2008 injectors cost $736 each. For a full set of 6 on a V6, that's over $4,400 in injectors alone. Post-2008 injectors are cheaper at around $250 each, but they're still proprietary and increasingly hard to find. No aftermarket EMMs or injectors exist. None. Zero options. The resale impact is devastating. One forum member described his friend buying a $60,000 boat for $40,000 because it had a blown ETEC on it. Dealers across the country now rank resale ease as Yamaha first, Suzuki second, Honda third, Mercury fourth, and Evinrude dead last. Smart buyers treat Evinrude-powered boats as hulls with zero engine value, negotiating 30 to 50% below comparable 4-stroke powered boats. Multiple dealers from Seattle to California have said Evinrude boats will be worth nothing in a very short time. If you own an ETEC that's running well, ride it until it breaks. Maintain it carefully. But budget for a repower, because when the EMM goes or the injectors fail, the math almost never makes sense to repair. Mechanics universally recommend bolting on a new Yamaha or Mercury rather than sinking $5,000 to $8,000 into a discontinued engine with no parts pipeline. So there are your 5 Chinese knockoffs that self-destruct out of the box. Yamaha HPDIs with fuel systems so complex that even Yamaha walked away from the design. Mercury V8s and Verados that grenade lower units and lock you out of your own engine's computer. Honda BFs that corrode from the inside where you can't see it. And Evinrude E-TECs that are one EMM failure away from becoming very expensive boat anchors. Every one of these problems is visible when you cut the engine open. Every one of them is invisible from the showroom floor. That's why you bring a mechanic before you bring a checkbook.